All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It looks like we've got most folks logged into the Zoom system. So we will get started here with our content. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. For this webinar, we're going to be going through reopening best practices, talking about different ways that different destinations are preparing to reopen, and specifically the steps that they are taking to kind of prepare their visitor centers in particular. So thank you everybody for taking the time to join us, and we're looking forward to a really great conversation. My name is Jenny Rose. I'm the Vice President of Integrated Marketing Services here at Tempest, and I am joined by Mike Trippy, our Creative Director. Mike and I have a really exciting announcement to share with everybody as before we kind of really get going on our visitor center panelists and our destination perspectives, kind of chatting with some of our Tempest clients, good friends of ours who have kind of gotten the ball rolling on reopening their visitor centers, and they are here to share kind of what preparations they've been making and the experiences that they've been having, in the hopes that that is helpful for you all as you create your own plans as well. We do have the Q&A feature enabled on the Zoom system today. So please use the Q&A system to ask questions throughout the discussion today. We're going to be monitoring that and answering those. We do have a time set aside at the end of the conversation for question and answers. And then, as appropriate, we'll also answer that as we kind of work through the discussion today. And also we are recording this discussions, and we will be sharing it as with previous webinars that we've hosted here at Tempest. So we will be reaching back out to everybody once the recording is complete, and that is available for you to check out. So kind of one of the things that we, like we said, we wanted to start out with a special announcement. One of the things that we have really been understanding with our team in particular, as well as everyone else in the destination and industry, is that right now, with everything going on with the coronavirus pandemic, that everyone, I think, in this community is really feeling the urgency and the need to do something to help our communities recover. We wanted to use our expertise and our position within the digital marketing end of things to really help out and give you a platform to help get the ball rolling on recovery. And Mike, our creative director, is going to walk us through a new initiative that we're really excited and passionate about here at Tempest that we wanted to include you on.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. So, kind of echoing a little bit what Jenny said, where this has kind of come from is that, we've participated in what feels like an endless amount of webinars. Thank you all for listening, talking about what recovery could potentially look like. And in many ways, we've all kind of felt like passengers here, at least at some point during all this. So we wanted to start putting our efforts to not just talking about recovery, but hopefully begin shaping recovery with something, that's more tangible. So one of these efforts is starting to launch today is Rediscover America, which is a new travel, lifestyle, and publication brand that we have created and developed here at Tempest. Our goals with this initiative are to universally promote travel, demonstrate the expertise of our destination organization partners, and use this current recovery phase as a catalyst while still creating a big enough idea to live well beyond it. For us, this just isn't about right now. Our goal is to keep this active and still have meaning 5, 10 years from now. So what is Rediscover America? Well, this hero image from our homepage featuring my dog's stunt double teases it a little bit, but in its simplest form, Rediscover America is a deep content hub of blogs promoting the untold stories and lesser known attractions from destinations all across the country to their potential visitors. While we are leading this initiative, who Rediscover America is will hopefully be, all you guys, all of our travel organization leaders from across the country. ultimately, you are the definitive expert in your community because it's your job to be. And too often we've let the expert title go to social media influencers, famous celebrities. And we instead want you to start owning it and wielding it to your advantage because you're the most knowledgeable expert about your location. So, all right, big question. Why are we doing this? Isn't this just duplicating our current efforts? Well, how this is different is that this doesn't just give visitors great travel information, it also performs like a PSA for DMOs. It's meant to be educational, informing the public about destination organizations, because a lot of people simply still don't know what these organizations are. What they do for their communities, who are the faces behind them, why are they valuable, and why do we need them now more than ever? So collectively, how we're going to do all this, well, we have some larger creative strategy that are still in development, but initially we're going to start rolling this out through targeted SEO story campaigns, organic search, social sharing, and email blasts. While these strategies will get users to the Rediscover America website, the individual targeted stories will push visitors to your website, to your local partner pages, and hopefully picking up the phone and calling your visitor centers with questions. How we'll be structuring these stories is through an editorial-like framework. So, think big name travel magazine. Rediscover America will be the interviewer, asking the featured contributors, you guys are destination experts, a series of questions to get a more personal perspective about your location and your organization. We want these stories to be short, concise, really informative. Yes, they'll uncover unique insights, but they also will get to the heart of what visitors are really interested in, an authentic experience that is recommended by a local expert. We'd also encourage you to think of these stories as a PR platform of sorts. We want to give you the ability to become a much bigger advocate and be the definitive voice of your community, not just locally, but from a national perspective. So we'll be working really hard to harness your voice through your quotes, through your recommendations, and tell a story that's really meaningful about your community. Beyond yourselves, this is also about passing it forward and extending this platform to members of your community that make it truly unique. So think about the people who remain very engaged now, even during this crisis, keeping everyone's morale up. Who else is working hard to keep your businesses strong, your area vibrant, your community successful? And let's figure out a way to tell their story in a meaningful way too, so people understand how special your community is.
Yeah, this has been a really fun project for us to get off the ground and running. We had a really great question come in from Janet Anderson about whether this is going to include Canada. We are planning on launching a Canadian version of this brand as well. So stay tuned for that. As we kind of tackle this project and we really kind of dig in and get going on it, we've had the opportunity to connect with some of the destinations that we partner with, and we're using that to create and start populating these stories. And this is a really great example of what our content team has been able to do with some of the information that we were able to capture from Wes Ray, the CEO of Visit Stockton, who I know is on the call today. Hello. We've also reached out. I know Mark Sapoznik with Rancho Cordova is on as well as too. And so we've had the opportunity to kind of have conversations with some of you already to kind of get the ball rolling on this. And we definitely want to involve as many of you as possible. So, kind of giving you a preview of what these look like when they come to life. You can see that like Mike said, we're featuring Wes up front as the central hub of the article, really kind of promoting him and his involvement with the Stockton community. kind of talking a little bit about who Wes is and his expertise, and then his recommendations for the community. So kind of talking about his love for the downtown area with links pointing back to the visitstockton.com website so that visitors can get more information. Wonderful kind of like pull quotes with his unique perspectives on the destination, and just really great thoughts about the experience that we can have when we go to Stockton. One of the things that we really loved when we had the opportunity to connect with Wes is he had some really great insights about different community members. He really talked a lot about this gentleman, Mike Brooking, who owns a coffee shop in the downtown area. So he's a really great character, but he also has a really great photography kind of side business. And so our content team was able to take the insights from Wes and actually track that guy down on Instagram and showcase his own unique profile here in the story as well, so that visitors can kind of connect with Mike and start to get a little bit of a feel for the Stockton community. One of the other things that Wes really talked about when he was kind of singing his destination's praises was how his family likes to kind of get out into the nature in the area, highlighting the really great detail of the Delta area and the type of experience that we can get out there as visitors, as well as the countryside. One of my favorite little tidbits is the fruit bowl, one of the fruit stands out there that Wes kind of clued us into. It has some really great pie, which sounds really amazing right now. But just basically, you know, really doing a kind of finding some really nice gems that we can highlight and really sing the praises of the Visit Stockton team, showcasing some of the great video content that the team puts together, as well as, you know, some unique attractions that you aren't going to find anywhere else, like the Cambodian Buddhist temple. One of the things that we really want this content to do is inspire your locals to rediscover their own hometown, but then also kind of discover areas that they can drive to really get this movement going and help inspire that travel and inspire that economic impact for your communities. So trying to give folks an idea of different ways that they can continue to build on their experience. Again, referring out to the destination website so that they can get more information and continue to develop a relationship with you. Our team has been mapping all of these points so people can really get a good feel for the physical geography of the space, using user-generated content to give another perspective on it, and really, again, highlighting the individual contributors and what they do, the organizations that they work with, and their expertise within the travel industry. So like we said, we are really excited about this. You know, we're super passionate about this project. We love the destination industry. Our team has been doing a ton of work kind of taking the insights that we're gaining from the destination industry and creating this awesome content. The website as a whole is live right now. You can go to rediscoveramerica.com. If you want to participate, you can reach out to us there. Any destination can be highlighted here. The one kind of rule that we have is the contributors must be members of a formal destination organization. Like Mike said, we really want to use this as an opportunity to highlight your organizations, the expertise that you have. So we are inviting anyone and everyone at a destination organization to connect with us and share. We do have a web form up, so you can submit some information about your destination, what you love about it. You can also reach out to Mike or myself. And yeah, we're definitely excited to really kind of see this project take off. Like we said, we will be launching a similar initiative for Canada here coming soon, and we'll have more information about that as well. We did have a question from Sabine. This is a free service. So this is, again, a passion project of ours at Tempest to really kind of help gain more awareness for the destination industry and all of the great work that you're doing. So there is no charge to being featured here. It's just really the biggest requirement is that you are a destination marketing professional. Wonderful. So we will be sending out more communication about Rediscover America as it continues to evolve. So stay tuned for that. For more information, check back at the website as we start to populate it with wonderful stories like Wes's and other information and stories that we're capturing from other members of the destination community. And with that, we're going to switch gears a little bit and head over towards, as we kind of continue to have this conversation about reopening and, getting folks traveling and moving around in our destination. We really want to kind of focus on what different organizations are doing to prepare for the reopening of their visitor centers specifically, and reopening and welcoming back travelers from a larger perspective. We are recording this webinar and we will be emailing a recording of it to all of the attendees, so stay tuned for that. Also continue to use the Q&A feature as as more questions come up. We're definitely monitoring that. But one of the, as we kind of dig into talking about reopening visitor centers, the first panelist that we want to bring into the discussion here is Jode Mull. She is the Director of Tourism Services for Georgia's Blue Ridge and the Fannin County Chamber of Commerce. Jode, you have a blended approach for your organization. You're not only a tourism bureau, but you're also a chamber of commerce. So how are you building coalitions in your community to kind of plan for the reopening and kind of get your visitor center open, which I know is opening up later this week, right?
Yes, ma'am. As you said, we are a blended organization, so we've been having to walk that fine line of supporting our small businesses downtown and our restaurants, but also telling people don't come right now. So it's been a little tough, but we have 3 centers. Our main center is what we are opening up this Friday. We have 2 satellite offices. We have a little red caboose in downtown that mainly is there to capture visitors coming up on the train. Our scenic train will not be starting now until July 1. So we've not opened that center back up, but mostly because there's no way to social distance. It's a caboose. So we are going to open it up starting Friday as a self-serve. It has a hotline phone in it that people can pull it up, pick up the phone, and it connects them immediately to our chamber. If you have a question, we've got sanitation hand wipes, but it's up to that visitor if they choose to use that center or not, but it will be unmanned at this time. We have another small center, same thing. It's 2 small rooms. It's at the other end where the train, where people get off the train. We've elected to keep that closed till probably July as well. Again, impossible to social distance properly. So what we're doing here at our center, it's got a fairly decent sized lobby. We rearranged some furniture and tables and have blocked off access to the main visitor guide brochure racks. We do have an area when they come in immediately to their right. We're kind of well known for our self-guided tours. We have 16 of them that with GPS coordinates that you can access any place they want to go with directions, etc. We put the most common items there. We are only allowing 1 person per group to come in if possible, unless they need to use the restroom. We are requiring them to wear a mask. If they do not have one, we have masks to give to them. We're setting up a sanitation outside for them to clean their hands before they come in. We're shortening our hours. It's just going to be kind of from 10 to 4. We are a 7-day-a-week visitor bureau on all 3 locations, typically when we're open under normal guidelines. Our associate, we just have 1 associate that works down in the lobby. Our counter is designed nicely. It's a big, deep counter, plus there's a desk space on the back, so that automatically puts her at 6 feet pretty much between anybody who actually came up to the counter. She will have a mask on as well as the guests will have a mask on. The other thing that we've done is we've created bags. We have little plastic bags that we put all these common items that people, so it's a to-go feature. We have them outside the door. We've been doing that for anybody who doesn't want to come in, or somebody wants to come in and just grab one. They don't have any specific questions, don't really need us to talk to them, and then they can just take those items and go with them. I think that's it for now, unless you have questions.
Yeah, I actually have a couple.
Okay.
What kinds of conditions did your community feel like you needed to meet before you felt comfortable to reopen?
We, as we all probably have this situation with what we call the locals that are, nervous about people coming here, people come into our grocery stores. We're a small community that kind of explodes on the weekends. This all hit during spring break. There were a lot of people downtown all of a sudden, so people kind of got panicked. Things got, the governor our county shut down before the governor shut down lodging. Our county made a decision to shut down all of our lodging. So, and then the governor started it. So we just opened back up May 1st for lodging. But basically, as a chamber, we've been supplying masks to all of our members. We have 850 chamber members. Any chamber member that needed masks, we had a lot of them donated to us from different organizations. We've been going out personally and talking to them. We've been letting them know. We have a blog that we've made sure the community knows what we're telling prospective guests. It lives on the homepage of our website. It's kind of a before you come, asking them to respect our community, to bring their groceries with them. We're a mountain community that's mostly cabin rentals. That's what most people stay in. We do have motels and B&Bs, but the majority of people come to homes. So most of them have been up here social distancing. They're not coming to town, but just making our community feel a little bit more comfortable by providing masks ourselves, letting all of our businesses know what the guidelines are, the CDC guidelines, and what the governor has ordered. Just putting out as much information as a chamber that we could. We've done webinars with all of our chamber members and just things like that to make them comfortable, to be aware, be ready for the guests to come back, which they're back.
I know that you kind of mentioned that this all happened during spring break. I know that you're located very close to the Atlanta metro area, and so crowds can definitely be a thing. Have there been concerns about overcrowding within your community?
Yes, that's what, pretty much started it all. Like I said, ahead on spring break, when, the gloom and doom on the news, really not sure, how is it passed? Can you get it just by walking past somebody? Am I going to get it, if I touch a package of chicken in the grocery store after someone else touched it? So there was so much unknown at that time when all this happened. Like I said, we were full. We were booked solid with lodging when all of this came down. So, there was some animosities. Facebook is a wonderful and evil thing all at the same time. So we monitored that very closely, trying to just get correct information out. The biggest issue here is that a lot of people didn't realize in the beginning is it was not guests that were here. Once the spring breakers left and everything was shut down, they were still seeing people here. They just weren't understanding. We have 5,000 second homes here. And a good portion of them are people from the Atlanta, Georgia area that are only an hour and a half away. So of course they came here to quarantine rather than being in the city. So there was a little bit about understanding that. And so, there was concern. So we've just tried to, we even had our doctor from our hospital do a webinar, on wearing masks and just trying to make people feel as comfortable as possible about it.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things, just anecdotally for all of those who are in attendance on the webinar today, that we've seen be a successful strategy for kind of helping manage on some level the concerns about overcrowding is if you have webinars, or I'm sorry, not webinars, webcams. If you have webcams in your destination, that could potentially be really great content to leverage to help disperse people around, so that, depending on how those webcams are set up or the type of content that's being shared on those webcams, it could potentially be something that you can highlight highlight for your visitors, for your community, so that folks can get a feel for where the crowds are, potentially, you know, if crowds are building, prevent them from becoming even bigger by, you know, giving folks the idea and the ability to kind of get a preview of what the crowds look like. So just something to think about.
Yeah, one more thing. That is, you know, one thing that we have done is try to disperse everyone. Our Forest Service closed down all of our trails. You know, anything that had, you know, the Appalachian Trail is here. They closed down anything that would possibly access the AT because it was closed down nationally. So they've just opened up a couple of trails. So that in itself has kept too many people overwhelming anything because they were closed. So we've just worked really hard to come up with things where normally we would be trying to keep everybody here, spend your money here. We're sending them out into the world. I mean, we're a tri-state area, so we're trying, you know, to disperse everyone so that there isn't a situation where you have everybody congregated at, you know, a popular destination.
We did have one question from Rebecca. She asked what vendor you're using for face masks. Have you found somebody locally or nationally that you were able to source those from?
We have a local supply company that does like janitorial supply. And so they have ordered them. So I don't know what company, but they're here locally. So we've been able to purchase hand sanitizer about a gallon. And we've gotten the masks, but they've all come through that particular organization.
Wonderful. Excellent.
And we just started this a couple of weeks ago. We just got masks a couple of weeks ago. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jody. We'll definitely circle back to you during the Q&A after, kind of towards the end of the discussion. But that's great information. We're going to bring in Susan Morton, the tourism manager for the Waco Convention and Visitors Bureau now. You know, Susan, what kinds of things are you looking at? Has your visitor center opened? I believe it's been open, but for a little while now, just a short couple days.
Our staff is back at the visitor center. For a while, we had some of us were working from home or sent to other city departments who are part of the city. So, for instance, I have one full-time person that's still working at the health department right now. We haven't opened yet, but we are preparing and want to be prepared. And I love this idea of sharing information because that's what people in our industry have always done. We're always great resources for each other.
Absolutely. We had a really good question actually from Nellie Freeborn. What sort of information did you provide to those employees to help them feel comfortable to come back into the visitor center and into the office?
As part of the city, we have city mandated information for city offices. So ours may be a little different than some, but we have voluntary temperature screening for all employees. We have signage. You know, we wear a mask if we can't maintain the social distancing. We're wearing masks in our office. Our tourist information center is pretty small. So what I've told my staff there is if there's more than one person in one room of the information center, we need to be wearing a mask just as a sign of consideration. And of course, we've always had hand sanitizer everywhere because of the flu and colds and in general, but I'm going to add a hand sanitizer station outside. And I'm stealing an idea I got from a local nail spa. I got some locally made, really cute cloth face masks, and we're going to sell those at cost. And so we'll put a basket with those outside and tell people, you know, if you didn't bring your own mask, you can purchase one here. So
wonderful. I know that your your information center is also a pretty nice and robust gift shop. Do you have any plans on potentially shifting that or restructuring the merchandise that you're offering to kind of make it easier to reopen that and welcome back visitors?
That's an excellent question. A couple of things we did. One was we took all of the brochures off the wall, and those will be by request. And I'm even going to go so far as to take the brochure racks off for now so that they don't just stand glaringly empty. And on the merchandise, we rearranged it a little bit. Typically, especially during spring break, which is what we were prepared for, you know, we push as much stuff out to the sales floor as we can, and we've reversed that. So there's a sampling of everything out on the shelves, but we'll be restocking it more often instead of having so many hands on it.
Yeah, definitely. We've been getting a couple questions about physical barriers or signage to help direct folks. Do you have any plans to add plexiglass or
We've already added our plexiglass sneeze guards, and they really don't look as unfriendly as I thought they were going to. And then for signage, I think I'm going to have some custom signage. Right now, we've got signage up already, like we have a display case that has event information outside, and instead of having event information right now, it has COVID information and information about social distancing and the importance. But we want to make sure that our signage is very friendly. So I did find, for anyone that's interested, I was looking at Displays to Go. That's the numeral 2, and it's a retail fixture place. And they have a page that has free signage you can download. So just FYI if anybody needs that. But I really want to customize ours and make it location specific.
Mm-hmm. How have your cleaning procedures changed at all with all of this as you kind of wrap your head around reopening the visitor center and welcoming back the public?
We did a deep clean a couple of weeks ago where we took everything off of every surface, every shelf, cleaned it with disinfectant. Everything that can be touched has been sanitized.
Excellent.
And we'll be like the door handles, every time we go in and out, we wipe the door handles down.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my staff to pretend they robbed the place and leave no trace that you've been there when you leave your shift.
Yeah. How has your community in particular responded to your plans to reopen? What has the sentiment been like?
I think there's some nervousness about everything opening. We did, as I'm sure all of you did, as soon as everything shut down, we completely changed our focus to the locals, which is not the norm for us, and maintain lists. Instead of dining lists for everyone, we had lists of places that would deliver and curbside pickup and virtual entertainment and things like that. I think we've had a little more interaction with our locals on Facebook and on social media, a little more local interaction. And for the most part, it's been positive, but you can tell there's some nervousness. We had someone call our health department and complain because there was a crowd of people at the Magnolia silos. Well, I don't know who made the call, but the silos still aren't open yet. So, you know, you've got those people that just want something to complain about, and they're going to find something to complain about. And that's true all the time, but especially when people are in a stressful situation.
Absolutely. It has definitely been stressful for all of us in different ways. Yeah, that's wonderful information. Is there anything, obviously we're still getting some questions in, but is there anything else that you can think of, any other things that you're considering as you kind of continue to move forward with recovery and reopening?
A couple of things that we've come up with. We're going to start with our brochure fulfillment. We're going to do a page that says how to prepare for your visit to Waco, that has some, what the guidelines are in Waco and suggestions for staying safe during their visit. And we'll put that information up on our website as well. And then kind of a quirky little thing. We have kind of an old-fashioned credit card system where they still have to use a PIN to sign the receipt. And rather than having people reuse it, we're just using our logo pins, and it's kind of basically a free pin with purchase, so that they each get used just by one person.
That's a good idea. Susan, what hours is your CVB now operating under? Do you plan to have the visitor center open at reduced hours? Is your staff, how has the work week changed for you?
We will have reduced hours. Normally we are open 7 days a week, but we happen to have a full-time position that was vacant when all this came down, and that position is frozen until October 1st. So based on that, we're going to be open just during the week until we can fill that position.
Gotcha, that makes sense. Wonderful, thank you so much, Susan. I want to turn to Beth Wiles, the Executive Director for the Pulaski County Tourism Bureau. Beth comes to us from the future. Her visitor center has actually been open since earlier this month. So Beth, talk to us a little bit about how that process has been going for you and for your community.
Yes, it's actually gone very smooth. Our visitor center is located off of a major interstate, Interstate 44, right in the heart of Missouri. We're also along Route 66. But the travel has been very light. We had opened on May 4th. We've had few stops in, which I had expected, as we have a camera outside, and I had been watching the stops at the center while we were working remotely. One thing we're continuing to monitor as things open up and people start moving around a little bit more, we will gauge whether we open on weekends. And, you know, like the others, we normally are 7 days a week by Memorial Weekend. We are holding that for a little while. But I'm also monitoring for larger amount of traffic coming in. You know, I don't want to overwhelm our staff as well, you know, and just monitoring behaviors of travelers. I'm pleased to say those that have stopped in, they have been very thankful that we've been open. They've been very well behaved. We do recommend wearing a mask in the center. We do not require it. And it's probably about a 50-50 skew of those wearing masks and those not. When they pull into our parking lot, we have signage up that welcomes them to the area and that we're open, but they can also call our number for curbside service, where our staff will go out and greet them, find out what they need, gather the items and take them back out to their car. For the center procedures, we're very fortunate with the layout of our visitor center, that when you first come in, you're in a large foyer hallway, and we've set up a welcome table about halfway in. And we have a plexiglass sign in front of that table to protect both the visitor and the staff. We have pertinent materials right on the welcome table. So as we're visiting with them, we have those materials immediately available, and we provide that information in a bag. Basically, the procedure for the staff is, you know, when someone hits the door, they head over to the welcome table, they get a squirt of germicide, and, you know, they're kind of wiping their hands with it as they greet those visitors, so that the visitors immediately see that we're taking precautions for them. Welcome them and say, oh, you know, we have a few different procedures going on right now. How can I help you? We do allow the tourists to use our restroom facilities. We have designated one area as a family restroom and allow 2 visitors at a time to enter the center. and also use the restroom facility.
How
Scott?
has your, Beth, really quickly on the restroom, how have your cleaning procedures changed for the restroom? How often has it been cleaned? Or how long is it being cleaned in between folks utilizing the facilities?
That's one reason we've restricted how many can go into the restroom at a time. They have to be from the same travel party, and we're allowing 2 from that travel party to go at one time. Once they go in, if they have an additional travel party, they can go on in. But once the final person from the travel party exits the building, they immediately go in and disinfect. Mm-hmm. So between every travel party, it is cleaned.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of, one of the things that I know that you also previously offered merchandise. I know that you also offered complimentary coffee. How have those kinds of things changed as far as, what experience you were providing at the visitor center? I know, obviously with, having folks remain outside and so that you can kind of control access to the building. But once they're in the center, how have you reconfigured the space from that perspective?
We actually have eliminated the coffee service at this time, and we'll monitor when we'll resume that. It's not too big of an issue right now, due to the time of year. Now, regarding our store, it is off in a separate little room, and we actually have a table across the doorway there. And if someone's interested in some merchandise, we greet them at that table and bring, visit with them about what they're kind of looking for, and we can bring items to them for view, is how we're handling that.
Gotcha. And what hours and days are you open for the visitor center?
Currently, we're operating from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And we normally would be open Saturday and Sunday starting this weekend, but we are going to hold off on that for a couple more weeks. Just monitoring what the traffic has been. I just feel strongly to, instead of stretching our staff so thinly, that we'll wait on that. We have a kiosk outside of our building where travelers are able to pick up our local information as well as, statewide information, the state visitors guide and map. And so they still are able to obtain information if they make that stop when we're closed.
Perfect. I want to kind of open it up to all 3 of you for some additional questions that have been kind of coming in through the Q&A feature. Susan, I know you mentioned that you're offering locally made cloth masks for purchase. Mm-hmm. Have any of you opted to go the route of doing branded face masks, or outside of Susan's locally made cloth masks, are you really kind of focusing on one-time disposable masks, or have you made the decision to do branded face masks?
This is Susan. To start with, I just went with what was available because, some of those are kind of hard to come by. The local place, it supports the local people, and they do a good job with it. I had already gotten some for my family from them. And they put some really cute ones with blue bonnets and cowboy boots, which is very appropriate in Texas. So I thought that those would be kind of fun. But if I already had logo fabric, I would have probably had them do that. And as time goes on, I think that's a great idea.
Wonderful. Beth, having the visitor center open for a couple weeks now, are you doing anything with a liability waiver or signage for staff or visitors to in any way help mitigate legal issues?
We have not officially done, legal waiver of liability, but we are collecting information from each visitor that stops in. We let them know, we're collecting information due to this situation, and we're obtaining a name of the travel party, either a phone number or email. We are asking where they are heading to and where their home state is. And we date, time, and initial, and we keep that information in a binder. And everyone so far has been willing to give us that information. We let them know it's not used for any other purpose other than if there is a situation on site, we will be able to give this information to our county health department for tracing ability. And then we also have a form that we give to them with all of our information. And we ask them to keep that for several weeks in case there's a situation on their end that they can share that with their public authorities. Oftentimes, travelers, especially if they're just moving through the area, they don't always remember exactly where they were. And I felt strongly that they needed to have that information on them to be able to share at a later date if there is a problem.
Absolutely. Jody, as you kind of prepare to reopen the visitor center on Friday, I know that your visitor center is in your office area. Will you also be, as your staff kind of comes back to work, will they have dividers between desks or cubicles or any sort of physical separation for the staff members as well?
Okay, we are in our third week of being fully back as far as all of our, with the 3 centers, we have a lot of part-time information specialists, but we have 4 full-time staff that have been reporting back to work. We are each in our own office. We have that luxury, the way the building is designed. We have one office that is downstairs off of the lobby, has its own door, can be closed off, but everybody else is in their own office upstairs. So we have, as someone said earlier, we are each in our own space, everything's sanitized every day. We do have some shared bathrooms that being sanitized in between to protect each of us. And if we've had any type of a meeting, it's basically standing at your office door, or if we go into each other's office, we're wearing a mask to protect each other. But, no, we're all fully back and not doing anything like that.
Yeah. So how many staff do you have back in the office so far?
We have 4 full-time, and then starting this past Monday, because the staff that was here was so overwhelmed with the phone calls, we just couldn't get anything done. All we did is talk on the phone to prospective guests. So we brought back one of our information specialists, and she's at the front desk downstairs, but we've been closed to the public. So she's been handling the phones for the most part, getting out our daily visitor guide requests by mail, and handling the stuff that we would normally have that person do during the day.
Gotcha. What's the square footage of your visitor center?
Counting offices and everything, I think we're at 3,600.
Okay, and then for the kind of the welcome area specifically?
It's probably 1,500 square feet.
Gotcha. Susan, what about you? How large is your kind of public area, and how many staff do you have kind of coming back at this time?
I have 3 people here right now, and 2 of those are part-time, and they are splitting the week. So one of them works the first half of the week, and the other one works the second half. And we are tiny. Our visitor space is probably about 1,000 square feet, and then we have decent sized restrooms, but with the current Texas guidelines, we can really only let one person or one family in at a time. And I loved somebody's idea earlier about having one person per group come in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Beth, on your end, how many staff do you have back at this point, and what's the size of the physical space?
We are a team of 5. All 5 are back to work now. I brought them back slowly over the last 2 weeks. This includes our marketing team as well. Our facility is probably 2,600 square foot. We have a similar setup with separated offices. 2 staff members are on the front desk of the center, and we do have a divider wall there for them. I do want to mention probably one of the most difficult things as a team has been making sure to wipe everything down that we're using, from, the copier to the refrigerator door handle. We're so comfortable with each other. You have to really make an effort to remember to do those little things.
Yeah, definitely. We had kind of an interesting question come in. I know that you offer the bathroom facilities and you have the process to clean in between kind of as people come and go. Who on your staff is responsible for cleaning, and how do they feel about that being in their wheelhouse, and how did you address any concerns that they might have?
I'm extremely blessed with my team. They pretty much just step up to the plate, and they know that Mama Bear protects them as well. Regarding the bathrooms being cleaned after each travel group, the visitor center staff is doing that. If I happen to get up and greet visitors, I'm in there cleaning the restroom after that travel party as well. But it is falling more to the visitor center staff. Mm-hmm. Regarding, the overall cleaning, we've all had to cut some costs. So we are handling our normal cleaning, and I've been coming up on weekends and doing the overall cleaning.
Sure. Has Mama Bear had to get involved with any uncooperative or hostile visitors since the center has been reopened, or has everybody been pretty good about working with you?
I have been so pleased. Everybody has just been very pleasant, very willing to answer our survey questions. They've all left saying, thank you so much for being here. Because they've shared stories where, they're afraid to stop places and so many places are closed. So they're very thankful that we are here. I want to make a note, someone had mentioned designing signs that fit your destination. Katie, I know she's listening. Shout out to her. She's done a lot of work for us on this, but she designed some signage for our front door. We're known for Frog Rock, a big boulder that overlooks Route 66. Well, she found a frog and added a mask to him, put that on the front door. And several visitors, when they came to the door, they saw the frog with the mask. They went back to their cars and picked up their mask. So personalizing things is so important.
Yeah, definitely. Jody, do you have any plans as you get ready to reopen the visitor center for, do you have any procedures in place for if the staff has to encounter anyone who's getting a little feisty or hostile?
Knock on wood, we've never, had that issue with anybody being hostile. We did just have a board meeting that I came from via Zoom of our chamber board today, and one of our attractions has had a little bit of, it's a family-run orchard. It's a large orchard, but it's family-run. There's health issues within the family itself, and they're a family. I mean, their employees are their family. So their main goal right now is protecting their staff while they're helping people. So you cannot come in without a mask. But they said they've had, and then they'll sell them a mask. It's $2, and all of the proceeds go to our local food bank organization. So they're not trying to make money off of people or anything like that. So they've just only had maybe 1 or 2 that have been hostile and felt like their rights were being violated, and those guests chose to not come in. So I mean, they did not let them in, but they said that's been it. So I'm kind of hoping, based on what they're doing, so that our plan is they won't be able to come in. So.
Wonderful. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, ladies. This has been wonderful. We will definitely, as we've talked about, we've been recording this webinar. We will be posting it and sharing it so that the community can refer back to it and use this as a great resource. A ton of amazing information in here. On our side, we've also been compiling recovery plans and opening guidelines on our website. If you go to tempest.im, we have a page up there called Community Resources, and we've been cataloging documentation for both individual destinations as we've been finding it, as well as national organizations. A lot of CVBs have been doing a great job keeping this information updated because of the changing nature and the evolving nature of local ordinances. I know there was a question about how destinations are handling that. The majority of destinations that we partner with have been linking out directly to the source for that information versus housing specific local ordinance information on their website because of how quickly it can change. But this page on our site has some really great recovery plans and guidelines that you can reference that our destinations have been really happy to share with us and have been a great resource. So definitely please check that out. A lot of good information on there. And of course, our entire team is here to help you on anything. Like I said, we'll be sharing this, the copy of this webinar so that you can refer back to it as you continue to create reopening and recovery strategies for your own communities. If there is anything that we can do here at Tempest to help you, we have our CRM support team, which you can reach at support@idss.com. For those of you that have Tempest websites, our web team is available at support@tempest.im. And definitely check back to our website for additional information as we're continuing to update that and capture more information so that we can get new resources and information as we all kind of come together and foster travel and return to, getting folks back to our communities and welcoming them back. Thank you so much, Beth, Susan, and Jody. We really appreciate you taking the time to connect and share your expertise. And yeah, good luck, Jody, on Friday.
Thank you. I think it'll be good. We're a little nervous with it being Memorial Day weekend, but with our great Tempest website, the ability to go in there and do what we need to do. And someone mentioned earlier, we have had up for a month or so on the front page, letting visitors know about being courteous and what to do and what to expect when they get here and stuff. So we're not expecting to see a lot of people come in, but we'll find out.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it and hope you have a safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend.